The moment the alien touched her forehead, he screamed. His body shook violently. Eyes rolled back, and blood leaked from his ears. Then, without warning, the great mind reader of the Zell race collapsed on the floor like a broken machine. Everyone in the chamber froze. Captain Ji-hae and Kim, still locked in floating cuffs, blinked slowly. "Well," she muttered, "that was fast." 12 minutes earlier, the alien interrogation chamber had been deadly silent. The air was cold, dry, and smelled faintly of burnt metal. Strange green runes glowed on the black stone walls. The floating cuffs around Jahan's wrists kept her gently suspended in the air, unable to move, but not uncomfortable. She looked calm, despite being a prisoner in a hostile alien warship somewhere in deep space. The alien who stood in front of her was tall and pale blue, his skin glowing softly like jellyfish in deep ocean. His name was Falra, High Seer of the Zellmind Order. The Zells were known across the galaxy not for their weapons or ships, but for their terrifying power to read minds. They could enter memories, feel emotions, and pull out secrets like threads from cloth. No one had ever resisted their touch. Falra looked at Ji-hae with cold, glowing eyes. "You are not a special one," he said. "You are a commander, yes, but a simple human. I will see all." Ji-hae tilted her head slightly. "You sure you want to do that?" The alien didn't answer, lifted his long, shining hand, his fingers moving in slow, elegant patterns. Psychic energy sparked in the air around him, like soft purple lightning. Then he placed his hand on her forehead and fell into the human mind. At first it felt normal. Language, childhood, daily thoughts. Falra saw her school years in Seoul, the way she used to sneak snacks during military lectures, her dreams of flying ships. He saw her laugh with her crew, her secret love of old Earth music, her pain when she lost her brother during the war. Then everything changed. A wave hit him. A storm, screams, explosions, fires falling from the sky, trenches filled with blood, hunger, cold, people crying, dying, fighting, cities burning, then rebuilding. And yet over and over, humans stood back up. Falra tried to step back, but there was no exit. He saw children learning to shoot because they had no choice. Families fighting through floods, fires, diseases, wars, and never giving up. And deeper still, below all the horror, was something worse. Hope. Not sweet hope. Sharp hope. Heavy hope. The kind that never dies, even when everything is lost. A kind of madness that turned every scar into armor. He saw laughter in pain, stubbornness, in fear and kindness, in rage. He saw her smile after killing. He saw her cry alone after saving a planet. He saw a child pick up a rifle on a battlefield and walk forward. Lone Falra screamed. The alien mind shattered like glass. Psychic energy, once perfect and sharp, cracked and bled into the chamber. The walls trembled. The lights flickered. The cuffs holding Ji-hae blinked red and released automatically an emergency failsafe in case the seer was harmed. Falra hit the ground with a sickening thud. His limbs twitched. His eyes were wide open, but they saw nothing. Ji-hae slowly floated to her feet. She tied her long black hair back into a ponytail, her expression unreadable. She looked into the floating orb in the room, the surveillance eye that recorded every word. "Every breath. You wanted to understand us," she said quietly. "You're not the first." Her voice was calm, steady. "You won't be the last." Outside the chamber, several Zell observers watched in silence. They had witnessed the whole thing. No one spoke. No one moved. He made contact for less than 5 seconds. One finally whispered, and he almost died. Another added, eyes wide. Inside, Ji-hae was now sitting cross-legged on the floor. Completely free, she seemed, peaceful. The Zell guards didn't dare enter. 12 hours later, in a large black chamber at the Zell High Council, the most powerful minds of the race sat in silence. They played the psychic memory of Falra's failure, his last vision. They felt what he felt, saw what he saw, and they were shaken. They had read the minds of hundreds of species, calm minds, ordered minds, even warlike minds. But the human mind was not warlike. It was forged, burned, hardened, not designed by peace, but shaped by pain, not structured by logic, but by survival. They saw the final image that broke Falra completely. A small human child, alone in the middle of a battlefield, sobbing and, then lifting a rifle almost too heavy to carry. One elder leaned forward, voice low and sharp. Humans are not like others. They do not forget pain, they build on it. Another added, to them suffering is not a tragedy, it is their identity. A third whispered, we tried to touch their soul. It was like reaching into fire. They had thought humans were wild. Now they understood they were something worse. They were aware of their madness. Meanwhile, back aboard the human ship, young star Captain Jae-won An sat across from Ji-haen in the debriefing chamber. She was drinking tea. He studied her face carefully. Did it work? Ji-haen looked up and smiled faintly. Oh, it worked. They're scared. They're more than scared, she replied. They're confused. Shaken, he looked at me like someone expecting a puzzle and found a storm. Laughed softly. They thought we were just another species, that we had rules, patterns, but they found this instead. She tapped her temple, and this doesn't break. It bends. It absorbs. She leaned back, thoughtful, and it remembers. Across the galaxy, the story of the failed mind reading spread like wildfire. Some species became cautious, others curious. A few frightened. One race, the Crivery, immediately posted warnings across all star channels. Do not probe human minds. They bite back on Earth. Inside a quiet UN intelligence room in Geneva, a young analyst watched the loop again. Falra's scream, the convulsion, the collapse. Ji-haen's voice. Is it true? He asked the senior officer beside him. Now it broke him? Wasn't just the pain, but that we survived it? That we made it part of us? The officer didn't blink. He saw too much. For us. It was just Tuesday. In the far reaches of space, in the deep silent zones where few ships dared travel, a single Zell scout ship floated in darkness. Inside, a young seer hovered over the logs of Earth activity. One file glowed. Human subject probe permission granted. He stared at it for a long time. Then he quietly deleted it. Some doors once opened should stay closed. The galaxy watched in silence. In every corner of space on distant moons, in golden halls of empires and deep inside black market stations, the story spread like a fire that could not be stopped. They all saw the same short message, repeated. Again and again, across relay beacons, the Zell mind seer touched the human and screamed. Then he collapsed. Don't touch their minds. They bite back. At first, many didn't believe it. A human breaking a Zell. It's impossible. But the video was real. The seer's body hitting the chamber floor. The blood. The silence. The calm voice of Captain Ji-haen. Afterward, no one could fake that kind of fear. The Zell homeworld, the High Council, held an emergency meeting. The chamber was quiet, carved from black crystal, and filled with psychic shadows. The last memory of Seer Falra played again in their minds. They felt the storm he had felt. They saw the child with the rifle, and they all saw the same thing. At the end, something inside the human mind had looked back at the seer, and it had smiled. Elder Vec, the oldest and most respected seer, finally spoke. He didn't just see pain, Vec said. He saw the power of a species that refuses to fall, that refuses to forget. A younger Zell whispered, What should we do? Vec's eyes flickered. We stay away. We tried to look inside a human, and something inside ... looked back. Back. On the human ship, young star Ji-haen stood on the deck sipping her tea. The stars outside were still, but she knew things had changed. Captain Jae-hwan walked over, holding a datapad. They've started pulling scouts away from the borders, he said. Not just the Zell, others too. The Vorn, even the Scar. Ji-haen smiled softly. Didn't take long, he looked at her. What did he see, Ji-haen? Really? She stared out the window for a moment, thinking. He saw everything. Wars, yes. Fire, and death, but also how we kept walking after it, how we laughed in the middle of it. He saw what made us ... human. Johan nodded slowly. Then maybe we should be afraid too. Jihayan looked at him. Maybe, but we already live with it every day. On a neutral station, far from any war zone, a merchant race called the Tunnery played the mind probe footage for the third time. One of them, older and wiser, turned to the others. They didn't break him, the elder said. They reflected him. His own arrogance shattered inside that mind. Another Tunnery added, "We thought humans were just noise. But now, ... I think they are music we never learned to hear." At Earth Command HQ in Geneva, a team of analysts watched the replay again. This time, not to understand the Zell, but to understand themselves. A young officer, Minseok, leaned forward in his chair. "Why do we survive these things?" he asked. General Park stood with arms crossed. He answered quietly, "Because we always have. We suffer, we break, then we rebuild. We remember every single part, even the bad parts, especially the bad parts." Minseok nodded slowly. "Then we're not stronger because we're better. We're stronger because we're honest." "Yes," General Park said. "And that honesty makes us dangerous." On a pirate ship docked in the outer rings of Gachin sector, a bounty hunter played the loop again before deleting it. He said aloud, "Not taking human jobs anymore." His crewmate laughed. "Why? Scared of a little Earth mind?" The bounty hunter looked serious. "I've been stabbed, shot, and burned. But I've never had someone look at me with kindness, while they remember burning cities. That's not normal." Meanwhile, deep in the minds of the Zell Council, one voice grew louder than the rest. "Elder Vec again. They aren't like us," he said. "We avoid pain. We hide it, clean it, remove it from memory. But humans hold on to it, and not to cry. They use it. They wear it like armor." He paused. "They call it trauma, but it's also their strength." The youngest council member trembled. "Then what are they?" Vec looked into the shadows. "They are not monsters. They are mirrors. When you touch their soul, ... you see yourself. And that is what destroys you." In a secret meeting, far above Mars, human and alien diplomats gathered. Many looked nervous. A Zell representative did not attend. But a small message was sent instead. "We misunderstood your kind. We do not wish for war. Do not wish for contact. Please do not reach back." Jihayan was in the room when the message played. No one spoke for a while. Then she stood. "You all saw what happened," she said. "He didn't die, but something in him did. He touched the truth of humanity and couldn't survive it." A Voran diplomat asked, "Do all humans carry this inside?" Jihayan nodded. "Every single one of us." Later in her own quiet quarters, Jihayan sat alone. The stars outside blinked, uncaring. She picked up a small device. It recorded sound and sent it out into deep space on a signal no one could trace. She pressed the red button and spoke. "To those listening, we are not your enemy, but we are not harmless. We were made in fire, in hunger, in loss. We are not proud of it. But we never forget it." She paused, breathing slowly. "We didn't choose this path. But now we walk it, and we walk it without fear." She leaned closer to the device. "If you try to see into us again, ... be ready, 'cause we will see you back." She turned it off. The device blinked once, then launched into space. In the farthest reaches of the void, Zell's scout ship received the signal. The seer on board was young, curious. He hovered over the message. Should he open it? He stared at the file. Earth_mind_trace_001. Then he remembered what happened to Falra. He closed the file and deleted it. Some doors should never be opened again. Back on Earth, Jihayan received a message from an unknown relay. It had only one sentence: "We will not forget what we saw." She smiled and whispered back, "Neither will we."